Hi, Jim Carson here, Blackstock Ford Lincoln, Orangeville, Ontario. Back once again to talk about the next model year of Mustang. This one is the 22 model year, and back again joining me is Riley Murphy. And we don't have a lot to talk about on the 22 Mustang, to be honest. So we're going to talk about the 23 Mustang, and after all, everyone knows that's coming. We are going to talk about the order guide and the changes and sort of the market conditions. But before we get there, Riley, let's tell us, I'd like you to tell everybody what's new with you for Mustang in 2022.
Yeah, so I've been playing with Mustangs a little bit. I bought a 78 Mustang 2, which is, everyone knows, the worst generation of Mustangs, but this one's a drag car.
Hey, why do they make great drag cars?
Well, they're super light. This one's only about 2,500 pounds. It is gutted interior, but it's still all steel. It's got a 347 stroker in it, maybe 480 horsepower, but it's been fun so far.
Oh, well, I'll bet that's fun. I'll bet that's a lot of fun. 2,400 pounds, and what would a new Mustang weigh, like typically a brand new one?
About 3,500 pounds for a fastback, something like that.
So that's a lot, 1,000 pounds less. That is a lot of weight.
Yeah, and the same power.
Yeah, cool. Well, that'll be fun. And where are you going to race that?
Mostly at Toronto Motorsports Park, that's down in Cayuga.
Yeah.
Been to a couple of races at Grand Bend and St. Thomas, but it'll mostly be Toronto Motorsports Park stuff. Great,
that's a lot of fun. Well, we have probably a lot of people watching right now in our little Mustang community. We have lots of racing enthusiasts, and I saw Bob Tasca III just won the NHRA championship with his Motorcraft funny car. So Ford, of course, has a long history in drag racing, and obviously Mustang does. And funny you bring that up, or funny we should get to that, because I'm excited to be finally getting my new demo. I've been punishing myself driving an old Fusion with a ton of Ks on it that needs a fuel pressure switch and paint's falling off of it, so that I can get something to drive. And that's the way COVID is. But I got a Mach-E GT, a Mustang Mach-E GT, I will emphasize. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But I'm super excited about that. And we got two of them coming.
Yeah.
And that would be an interesting, maybe that's the way drag racing can come back and racing venues can come back close to urban cities. It's always the noise. Well, we can fix that with electric cars.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what sometime in the future we're going to have. Interesting to talk about that. So Mustang Mach-E was new last year. And the Mustang guys girls and guys are upset about calling it a Mustang. It's not your name. Get over it. Nobody calls you an idiot for calling your kid Shelby, right? It's a name, and I think what we've got coming in the future, we get a better picture and understanding the value of Ford and Jim Farley calling this a Mustang. First of all, he makes it drive like a Mustang.
Yep.
And what I'm talking about is we got hybrid Mustangs coming. It looks like. What are your thoughts on that? Let's start there.
I'm excited for it. I look at the electric motor kind of helps behave like a really small turbocharger, so it adds a ton of low-end torque. And so that's what makes cars fun, is really lots of low-end torque, especially on the street, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. And the all-wheel drive, that's going to be awesome. Tons of traction. Wait.
We don't know it's going to be all-wheel drive.
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly. I'd like to get this message across to Mustang enthusiasts. And as a dealer, I've had the privilege of meeting Jim Farley. It was a long time ago. I met him in Florida, and I am so stoked to have a car guy running Ford Motor Company with the full support of the Ford family. Jim Farley, this guy has 3 race cars. He has a legit original 64 Shelby, hardtop with a roll cage. He races that regularly, SCCA vintage events in Laguna Seca, for example. He has a 78 Lola prototype Formula race car with a Cosworth powertrain. And in Europe, he keeps, get this, his 66 Ford GT40. He keeps it there, and pretty much every year, I think, you can see the records online, he races that GT40 at Spa at the 6-hour race, a race where you can't change tires and the driver has to pump his own fuel. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
The guy, when he was running Ford Europe, he would regularly, not once, not twice, but he would regularly, based out of Cologne, Germany, where Ford of Europe has head office, where the Focus RS is made, the dude would grab an RS and a credit card and go to Nürburgring for his lunch.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is a serious car guy. He had a 66 Mustang he bought when he was in college. He slept in the thing. He restored that car when he worked in a garage that was owned by the legendary Phil Hill, the Formula One champion. So this guy has a real pedigree as a car guy. And here's the only thing he has said publicly about the 23 Mustang that we can know for fact. He was asked, what are your objectives with the 23 Mustang? And he simply said, I want a car that my kid will put on the wall and keep on his phone. And that's coming out of the mouth of Jim Farley. So I think we can be excited for that. You were just mentioning about the hybrids and the electric powertrains and the all-wheel drive potentially. I think that people should rest assured that the Mustang brand is in great hands. And they aren't bringing out a new chassis, which basically, my sources tell me the only body panels you're going to be able to interchange is the roof and the rear glass. And but yet it's not going to look drastically different from this gorgeous S550 Mustang that we all know and love since 2015. So so we have that to look forward to in the 23 model year. But why would somebody, so then why should somebody not just wait for that? Why should they, if they're interested, what are the reasons to buy a 22? Let's start there.
Yeah, there are a few really exciting things. Honestly, for me, the color changes are a big deal to me, the new ones that have come out. I'm excited to see the green and the mischievous purple. That's cool. That's a super rare color for Mustangs. It's only been offered 5 or 6 times, I think, in the history of Mustang.
Well, at 5 or 6 times, any shade of purple. Like
any purple at all.
Yeah, and you're including in there the Mystic monochrome or whatever that was called, the Mystic purple or Mystic, whatever it was called in the on the SVT. That was a really rare limited production color. Funny, we made one of those in wrap. You can get basically that color in 3M wrap. But Iris, you know, I mean, that was a light purple.
Yeah.
There was a lavender in the 60s. So yeah, not many.
Yeah.
Maybe Kona Blue, you could argue, had a bit of purple in there. And from the samples I can see, looks like the mischievous purple. The best way I would say it is it's in the shade of the Kona Blue. But if you can say Kona Blue is a little bit purple, then you can say mischievous purple is a little bit blue.
Yeah.
And so 13 colors.
Yeah.
In 22. That is a ton. And the color, the new colors added, let's go over those. Atlas Blue. Sort of like, how would you describe Atlas Blue?
It is...
You like Velocity?
It's a little bit darker than a Velocity Blue.
Okay.
We've had it on a few vehicles. It's been fairly popular on the Edge, actually. But yeah, a little bit darker than a Velocity, less brightness to it.
Cyber Orange, I mean, you know, orange, yellows, and Mustangs.
Yeah.
Always sort of desirable, yet somehow controversial. What do you think of Cyber Orange?
Oh, I absolutely love it. We had a Bronco and a Bronco Sport actually in that color this year, and great color, tons of metallic in it, and I think it's going to be awesome on the Mustang as well.
Dark matter gray metallic. I mean, how many different ways can you describe charcoal gray? Magnetic. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it obviously, but anything you know about that?
Not off the top of my head, honestly. I think it's going to be another. Ford always does a good job with the grays.
Got to be careful how you say this. Eruption green metallic.
Yeah.
Of course, we know that's coming in the Bronco. We've seen lots of colors of. I guess what I'm having trouble with is, why would I buy a dark green Mustang that's not a Bullet?
There is that for a lot of people. For me, I'm not, nothing against Steve McQueen, but the Bullet thing wasn't as exciting for me. So I think being able to get a more regular production car that's going to be easier to get a hold of in that color is going to be nice. It looks a little bit brighter than the Bullet green. So
would you build like a sort of a, okay, so if it's not going to be a Bullet, then would you build on an Eruption green sort of like a retro 68 GT fastback, black wheels? But I don't know how you don't get it. I don't know how you get away from. I guess you could supercharge it, which you could not do on the Bullet. With Ford Performance, you could do it with a Whipple, and you could do it with aftermarket. Then you don't have warranty. So, all right, that's enough talk on Eruption green. Grabber blue, we know that.
Yeah, we've had that before,
and people are going to like that.
Oh yeah.
And we, as we talked about, mischievous purple. So those are the new colors. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coming in, but only 4 leaving.
Yep.
Antimatter dark blue, gorgeous color. Man.
Yep.
I love that color. So that's gone. Grabber yellow. Yeah, we sold quite a few of those last year, but it doesn't surprise me that that's gone. Twister orange replaced by cyber orange, really.
Yep.
And velocity blue, we just talked about that, kind of really replaced by the Atlas blue.
Yep.
So on these color combinations and having all these different color choices available, the 22 model year with what's been going on in the semiconductor shortage, we normally get a lot of Mustangs allocated to us, and they cut it in half last year.
Yep.
They're already talking about, we're not going to get as many next year as we want. And we haven't even got into any shortages yet. And I guess I'm thinking, if I were Ford, where am I going to put my chips? If that's going to be, we think that's going to be stressed all year long, the supply. So what would you say to somebody looking at a 22 Mustang about the chances of getting what they want if there's 13 different colors?
Yeah, I think, the number of ways we can order these cars just went through the roof, the possible combinations. So if you have a particular spec in mind, we already found last year, it was hard to get any particular combination of options and colors. So really your best bet is to order one, relatively soon, and then you're going to get some of the earlier production, hopefully. And you're going to have the car early spring rather than start shopping in early spring and just hope the car exists. Because, we're going to have maybe less than 50% of a normal year worth of Mustangs on lots, right? So it's going to be harder to get exactly what you want.
Yeah, and we're used to having among the most available.
Yeah.
Not even just the shortage of the chips, but the shortages of engineer staff and staffing with COVID. We saw delays like the supercharger. We didn't get the supercharger last year until...
Yeah, we got the software it was either the very end of July or the 1st of August for the 21 model year.
Yeah.
And then, because we did 4 or 5 of them all within the month of August and had them all done at that point.
750 horsepower.
Yes.
For the best price you're going to find anywhere in Canada.
For sure.
Yeah. And let's talk about pricing. So that leads us into that discussion of pricing and maybe a little bit on modification. So the car is just a great value, and the price increases for the 22 are modest. Mach 1, $1,000 thereabouts, but the rest of the cars maybe $400 or $500. The options didn't go up. That's just great value.
It really
Still
is.
great value, and it's, as we talked about earlier, it's going to stay that way. So for us, like you said, Riley, now we know how experience with how difficult it is to stock the right car for the customer. And with now 13 colors, for sure, if I get the chance as a dealer, I want to have in stock late availability, the eruption green and the mischievous purple. But I don't know, I really like that idea of that purple Mach 1 with that gloss / matte black striping, and then they're going to have the little white bead stripe around that. That excites me. I think that will look great. But that's me. Maybe not. A lot of people may say, are you crazy? I'd never drive a purple car. I don't want a purple Mach 1. This is the challenge you get into.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to announce today, what I think we would like to do, given all these challenges, is to offer our customers, if you want to order a 22 Mustang, $100 deposit. Now, I don't want to confuse a reservation, as Ford is doing, versus an order. It is different. So we'll take your order. If we have allocation to fill it, if we won't have allocation to fill it, we won't take your order. And if those of you that don't know, we just simply have a policy. We don't sell above MSRP, never have. So we'll take a $100 deposit. We'll work out our best deal for you. We'll look at your trade. We'll take a $100 deposit. When the vehicle serializes, gets a serial number assigned to it, that's when it's going to get locked in. We'll ask you for an extra $400, make it a $500 deposit. Quite reasonable. And I think given the circumstances, that's quite reasonable. And that's sort of, I like to offer that as an incentive to get your order in early to get what you want. We'll do that as long as the spec is something that we can sell. So it's got to be a GT. I don't want to do that on EcoBoost. It's got to be a GT, and it's got to at least have the performance pack on it. I've said this before numerous years. I just don't want to. I don't want to sell a Mustang without a Torsen limited slip axle.
For sure.
And for the price, the $4,500 remains the same for the performance pack. And you get the 373 Torsen locking rear diff.
Yep.
You get the cooling, you get the rad, you get so many components, the K-brace.
The wider tires, that's a big deal.
Yeah, the crappy looking wheels.
I like them.
I know you like them. I am sick and tired of seeing this. It's the same wheel since 2015.
Fair
but don't
enough.
worry, we have a solution for that. We're a Ford Performance Parts dealer, and they have the wheel that looks exactly the same as the PP2 wheel, and the same specs as the PP2 wheel, which can be a problem, right? And I'm going to ask you about that in a minute. A problem being the tire fitment and the handling. But they sell that wheel. It looks the same as that. It's also the same wheel as in the Mach 1. They just give it a different finish.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matte black finish instead of the whatever they call the gray finish on that wheel. And you can get it either as a combination of a 10-inch front and 10.5-inch rear, or a 10.5-inch front, I believe it is, and 11-inch rear.
Yep.
You can order those wheels quite reasonably priced. And if you want to lease the Mustang, and you want to, you sort of want to take your 3-year period, whatever it is, 4-year, 2-year, 3-year, you don't have to go the full term and lease. The Mustangs hold their value so well, we'll get you out of lease early. But where else are you somebody's going to give you back 50% of what you pay for aftermarket mods? It's a great deal.
For sure.
But so let's talk about that wheel, that front wheel, and the tire fitment size and concerns that you have over that.
Yeah, for sure. So I think depending on what you're going to use the car for, you might actually want to go with the slightly smaller front wheel to keep it under like a 275 or so on the front. If you're going to drive the car on the street a lot, it just helps with tram lining on like cracks in the road, that kind of stuff. Now, if you are going to take it to the track, there's definitely a performance advantage to having something more like a 295 or a 305 on the front. And we've seen that. That's why Ford puts it on the, we used to put it on the PP2, or that's on the Mach 1, the GT350, 500. They're all a really big front tire. So on the track, definitely got to have the big one. But if you're going to drive it around on the street a lot, might be worth having the slightly smaller front tire just for drivability.
So all this, it's pretty exciting, all the choices we have from Ford Performance for parts, and the quality, the engineering that you can trust behind it. And I'll use wheels as an example. I find it somewhat shocking that in North America, there's absolutely no legal standard to the quality and safety of a wheel that you buy. You can buy a wheel that's a death trap and it's legal. Whereas Europe has very stringent standards. And in Europe, they cannot sell a wheel that's not TUV certified, TUV from Austria. We have no such thing here. So when you're buying an aftermarket wheel for your Mustang, I don't know. I guess the brand, okay, you could trust the brand. Ford's wheels, okay. But to know what is going to be a safe wheel and what's a wheel that's going to handle things like, potholes and large debris on the road and not crack, you don't know, do you?
No.
And that's what I like about the Ford Performance wheel. But the rest can be said on safety margin for everything. Their superchargers and their tuning. Yep. The delay to get the tuning is that Ford wouldn't sell you something that isn't emissions legal in 50 states.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that means that it caused us a delay here in Ontario while they got California approval for it. But still, you have that assurity that you have engineers who have, they have their blood, sweat, and tears into the Mustang. A lot of those guys they double their life in the racing community as well, whether it be drag racing or track racing. So, and now to be able to put some of that stuff in your lease and have it residualized with Ford just makes perfect sense. Hard to beat that. Would you not agree?
Oh, for sure. It's definitely, anytime you can put a Ford part on the car, it's engineered to work with the car. And, a lot of the stuff is track proven. It's things they've tested, they use themselves, that kind of stuff. So for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Just circling back to that, finishing up the whole value story, I guess, is what we're talking about. And it's gone from the 22 model year car and the pricing and where we think the 23 is going to go. We've talked about the resale value of the S550 Mustangs and how strong a play that is. I mean, when you add that all up, when you take the purchase price less what they're selling for, and you put that in terms of value competitively to what's out there, just a great play. But it's only good if you can get the car, and we're going to see challenges for 22 model year. So I think that's worth just stressing once again that get your order in early. We're in whatever the third week of November. That's what I see. When I look at the order guide and I know that we're going to get reduced allocation to what we'd like to order, and then you see all the combinations with these 13 colors, give us $100. Get an order in. When it's serialized, okay, we're going to take another 400. That's reasonable and easy to do. You can deal with us. We have a lot of knowledge and experience. Our technicians, our parts advisors, our mod shop at Bad Dog Mod, and our sales staff like Riley here. And our core values, I think, is a really strong reason to shop for your Mustang at Blackstock Ford, and we've been proving that for many years. So I think that's how I'd like to really leave this video and leave talking about that. But we have a few more things to talk about on new stuff on 22 Mustangs, and then we'll finish up here. This ice white appearance package for $3,000. Woo, that's a little out there.
Yeah, it's
you like it though.
I think it's going to be cool. I've seen some pictures of it. The wheels are super unique for Mustang production wheels. You get clear taillights. I think that's really cool. You get a unique interior. It's a two-tone kind of a darker color with a cream insert in the center. Yeah. I think it's going to be a neat combination.
The white wheels?
Yeah, I think it's kind of neat.
Okay. Well, that's a difference in the generation. I think the only thing that excites me about that package is those clear taillights, the European taillights. Now that's going to be a North American parts thing. So we could swap those out and mod your Mustang by putting those on there. Yeah, that part's exciting as well. That's what I think. Yeah, that's what runs across that's the best part of that ice white appearance. And the stealth package, I get it, and but again, just like the black appearance package, it's just not worth the sacrifice, in my opinion, because you can't get that with the performance package. Yep. And then you're locked out of the Torsen axle. So, I wish that they would allow you to do that. But we can basically approach that stealth package. We've been doing it for years. Yeah, we've been doing something like that. Yeah, for the black 5-liter emblems and the black horse in the grill, and we can black out various different parts of the car. So, I don't really think there's too much there in that stealth package that we can't offer the customer on a PP1. Yeah. And on that note, speaking of PP1 and compatibility with other packages, they've finally made it so you can have the California Special package with Performance Pack 1. Really? I didn't realize that. Yeah. I missed that. Interesting. So the California Special, all right. Yeah. Yeah, so you get I'd get behind that. Yeah, that's a big deal for, we've actually had quite a few in the past where they want the Performance Pack for the handling, the wider tires, all of that, but then you want the California Special look, and you actually get a unique wheel. You said you're sick of seeing these Performance Pack wheels on everything. There's a unique California Special with Performance Pack wheel now for that as well. I see that here. Yeah, there's the standard one, 19 by 9.5, like a 5-spoke wheel, machine face aluminum carbonized gray, and then the optional wheel is what's with the optional wheel? I can't see the difference here. Is it just it's just styling. I believe it's the same size. It might be a little bit wider in the back. That's what it is. Yeah, they're a little wider in the back for the 275. So it's a 1/2 inch wider. Yep. Just to accommodate the bigger tires. Yep. Because the California Special, I believe, had 255s on all 4 corners. Yeah. Whereas you're going to get 255s in the front and 275s in the back with the Performance Pack. I'm sure Zach, our trusty videographer, will have a picture shown up here by now. But yeah, there is a slight difference cosmetically. They're both 5-spoke wheels. Mm-hmm. And the optional one on the PP1 package, interestingly to me, that sort of looks like that American Racing torque thrust style. Yeah, it's a very classically styled wheel. Yeah, well, that makes sense. So that's it. So stealth package, ice white package, and being able to get the PP1 on the California Special. I think that's good. Other than that, the rest of the changes aren't even worth mentioning. So like floor liners instead of floor mats, big deal. It is all about the color choices, which it's very unusual to have 13 color choices in a Ford production car, and then to have so many of those available with the Mach 1. That's rather interesting. You can get a cyber orange Mach 1. Yeah, so maybe I wouldn't order the The mischievous purple, yeah. I mean, there's going to be so few Mach 1s. That's another thing.
Yeah.
We already had carryover orders from
Yep.
that. Unfortunately, the customer didn't get a 21, but neither did we as a dealer. We didn't get a Mach 1 for stock. So we lost out too, and we didn't get the price protection rolling into the 22 model year. I thought that was good that Ford did that. I guess it really was their only choice, but I'm glad they did that for our customers. All right. Well, I think we've probably got way more talking than we wanted to, but that's the way it goes all the time. Once again, my name is Jim Carson. I'm the dealer principal at Blackstock Ford in Orangeville, Ontario, Blackstock Ford Lincoln. Also the owner of Bad Dog Mods and Orangeville Quick Lane. And Riley Murphy, one of our great sales guys here. It's just part of a really, really great team that I have here. I'm proud of everybody in every department that we have here. And we sure would like the opportunity to earn your business. And if you like Mustangs and like to talk Mustangs and like to build your dream car, then I think we're the people to do it with. So hit us up, check up Riley, send him a lead, come and see us, $100 deposit, get your early times here to get your Mustang on order for spring, and we'll get it going for you. So I want to take this time, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the spring. Thanks, Riley.
Yep. Thanks, Jim.